Hi traders, welcome to the chart review for 5/17/2019. It is Friday. I'm going to take you through a couple of the pre-market calls that I did this morning and kind of show you what I had talked about and how we ended up. So first one we're going to do is this weekly, and it looks pretty much like we started this morning with, so hang on here. We could have a neutral week. I think we're going to trade a little bit down and then bounce, and maybe it's just going to be like a more of a pause week than anything. So I talked quite a bit about this particular level right here. This is the low of 52.50. I mentioned it several times in the video. Let's see how I call it on the daily end this morning. Use kind of a low volume type of location. So first target for bounce, for a long bounce, is 52-ish. And so I again called out this 52 area in this next clip, and I also called out this 87 area right here coming up. The one piece that really didn't play out till later in the day was the 78 area, and it actually worked out really good later in the day, and I can show you that on a smaller time frame at one point. But let's take a look at the call. And so you built a pretty good cluster up above, so this is going to be some pretty good little resistance right at the very top of it at 87. You may get a good scalp off of, you also may get a good scalp off of the 78 area. There's a lot more candles right here, so you got a lot more trading. I would, keep my target tight if I'm going up, and not try and go for too massive of a target, but it does have a good volume node to it. Right now we're testing the top of this, testing the bottom of this. So that was the test of the top, bounce down, we're testing the bottom of it. Matches up with this little group and this one right here. So this is the node right here, we're testing the top of this node now, and here's the bottom. So kind of aim for that, maybe that location, and again that's the 48. This was the 52-ish level up here. Okay, last one, you guys. I just wanted to show you that pivot right here that I called out, how well it worked out. It was, again, the 52 area, lined up perfectly with the symmetry of the whole market. And let's look at that call. If I put that right there, and if I look at this, it tags up with that little tiny area that I told you to be really careful of right there. And then this guy lines up nice and perfect with the top of this volume node right here. So that would, to me, that's a pretty decent location to go long. And this opposing pivot right here, I like that. I like when you have the opposing pivot, especially with this kind of thin, you didn't get a whole lot of trading action. Okay, let's finish up the chart review pretty quick. I just wanted to show you all those calls, that way you can see the value of the pre-market video that I do, and how well they kind of work out. So let's take a look at the daily. We stayed within the daily range here. We definitely traded right through some of the thinner area, bounced off that call that I had, and the market really took off to the upside, but something triggered it to the downside, and now we ended up with a pretty neutral week. 240, I'd called this kind of like a bull flag. You can definitely see that it came down, got the bounce, took us all the way up to the top. This is kind of like a volume node right up here, right? All the way up to the top. Hard to see on a 240. It's a big time frame. Kind of rushing through this because I've already taken up a lot of your time. Big move up, all in within 1 hour right here. It was a rush job, right? And then basically sold the rest of the day. If we came down, hit that node, like I said, when you look at this particular profile on this side, remember this was all pre-market. You can look at the volume down here and see that there was no volume right through this area, so it was very thin, and that's why you got this big move up. So when you look over here on this side, right, there was no volume here at all, and so you got this giant move right here, and there was no volume pre-market. So even though you had price action right here, it just kind of really wasn't enough of an opposing force to stop that. Hope you can understand that little piece of knowledge. Right here, this was 730. This was the bounce right here. This was the 52 level. You can see made a nice little move across 2 levels, came back close to the level, made another 2 level, and then came back, tested it, and was finding support. Remember, we got a node right here. We're basically testing the top of this node. The bulk of the trading was down there, and you can see how it was basically testing the top of that node, bouncing and bouncing. They really wanted to try and sell this, but I mean, look at the delta down here. They were buying it, and they wanted in, and then it took off and went, and got a lot of people on the wrong side of the market right here. So it attempted kind of to pull off right here. Let's see if I can put a profile across there real quick. And just kind of profile it real quick. And so it was pretty even all the way across, but you did get a pullback right here, which just kind of matches up with kind of like some of the volume right here that was right across here. And if I remove this, you can see there's definitely like a little level right here. You've got the tops of this, you've got the bottoms of this, got that, you got the pivot right there, and that kind of lined up, and they tried to hold it right there for a second, and it just kind of blew through. Top of the node, right? You can see the volume over here on the entire chart, and bounced back, came back down, tested across this node, right? So now you've got this this node kind of built up right here, wherever my pieces. So you kind of got this node that's already building up right here. It's a little bit lower. The market is strong. Finds it on the pivot right here and bounces. Really grinds. Look at how tough the bars are. It's grinding. This is probably a lot of short covering. They're leveraging in, trying to short cover, and then finally when it blows through the top of this piece right here, everybody just panics out, and it's gone. Multiple levels all the way to the upside. There was a lot of people got caught in this move up right here, right? Look how extended that is. It was selling back down. Everybody thought that there was a second chance, and the people that didn't get out basically got caught on the wrong side, and it rocketed, right? If you look straight across, look how thin this is. This was overnight, early morning trading. There's nothing here, right? There's just nothing to oppose this move until right here. You can see a little bit where it tried to defend itself right here, paused, but went right through. Just too much to the wrong side. 77 level, we called that out on the 60 time frame. And that was basically the top into that big old cluster move. Trades all the way back down, sits on top of this cluster right here. Okay, you get a pretty decent bounce first time. You get another bounce second time, right? And then it finally falls through, trades down to the bottom of the profile right here. There's like a nice little gap. You got another volume profile cluster right there, a cluster right here. Trades right into that, trying to bounce. Finally trades all the way down into the bottom of the cluster, bounces again, decides that it's going to hold there, and then it takes back off, comes back up into this volume cluster. It already kind of tested the bottom of the volume cluster right there, so it trades across, testing the top, doesn't get a pullback, so it continues up. Not really sure why this place really kind of stopped it, but it did, and it sold back down, and again, bouncing across the top, finally trades down, basically tests the bottom down here, falls out, and the market's kind of just going at that point. I won't describe the rest of it. The delta was pretty negative from this point on, so it was just kind of all selling. Even through here, it didn't really pick up as much as they would want, and so you kind of ended up like that. Levels were actually pretty good, so most of the touches on the levels, on the first touches and stuff, they all had little pullbacks and stuff like that, so a lot of good scalps in there if you took them. And not much to say about that. I'm not going to look at the bigger time frame. And of course, the symmetry, we had marked it off, and these lines worked out perfectly. I mean, just look at the matchups on some of these. Look at the top one right there. Look at that pullback under that one. Look at the top on that one, the bottom on that one. Didn't reach the bottom on that one, but that one worked out really good. Let me see if I can find my. Sorry guys, should have been like more prepared. And so I've been trading the micro E-minis. You can see I only managed an 81% today. Took a lot of trades, 22 trades. Had 18 winners, 4 losers. Managed to carve out 77. This is the E-mini micro. I'm sorry if I said the E-mini before. E-mini micro, and so on the regular ES, this would have been $775. So just to keep that in mind, I did give back a good third of it, but did manage to stay on the positive side of everything. So 7 consecutive winners in a row. But just wanted to share that with you guys. Hope that you guys find some of this information useful. It would be nice if you subscribe, hit the notification, get my morning calls. Thinking about creating a course here on trading the micro E-minis, and pretty much take you from nothing to being able to trade and recognize the stuff in the market like I do. So if you're interested in that, maybe you want to hang out on the channel a little bit or something. But anyways, have a great weekend, guys, and I will talk to you later. See you on Monday. Take care.